Hey, YouTube and F and True viewers and F and True community. JC Styles.
Brian Crazy, how you guys doing?
And we are here to, well, first things first, thank you to all of our subscribers, all 199 of you. I thought we were over 200, but a couple people must have desubscribed for some reason. But we want to say thank you to all of you that supported us. WWE, YouTube basically came around and said, hey, you know what? We're taking away your mark again from the WWE from copyright material on our, what was it, bragging rights?
Our bragging rights review. Yep. They basically said that we had copyright infringing material, and per the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, we are allowed to do a review, a critique of others' work, basically we won our case. Thank you, YouTube, for supporting its users, and we got a lot to talk about. We haven't been around in the last couple weeks.
Just busy, sick, friends, cousins visiting.
And to be honest,
my cousins Vinny and Anthony came up from New York.
Yeah, a little disenchanted, but we are back. This kind of changed everything. Now that we know YouTube is so supportive of its user base, it kind of motivated us a little bit to come back. And you guys, everybody that's left comments supported us. And the list goes on and on to our supporters, but one of these days I'll actually have to print out the whole list of subscribers and I'll read you all off. But
so let's get right into...
And I better get 199 views on that.
Let's get right into it. We had WWE, sorry. Old School Monday Night Raw. It was okay. It was decent, a lot better than what WWE has been putting out over the last couple of months.
I mean, you gotta admit the Charles Robinson hair on Justin Roberts and Mike Chioda there was pretty funny.
I thought it was kind of funny. You had Santino Marella actually hit the Cobra.
He sure did.
On who did they beat anyway? I forgot. I think I didn't watch that match. All I saw was the last part.
Wasn't the Usos versus Tosloff and Santino for the #1 contender?
We had that. We had Nexus segments. We had the return of Piper's Pit with John Cena. Which is now,
we're talking about WWE as a whole here. Nexus is also kind of invading SmackDown week after week.
Exactly.
A lot of cross-brand segments have been going on lately. Are we going to see a return to the style of WWE had maybe 10 years ago without the defined brand so much, or maybe with brands but with more cross-brand competition? It is one big company. I don't know if they're afraid to share talent. I understand that they're trying to give talent each a good share of time, so you got your stars on one show, your stars on the other show, so everybody gets a little bit of time, so you don't have 5 stars and a whole bunch of mid-carders. But I mean, cross-brand competition, good thing.
Speaking of cross-brand competition, we had Daniel Bryan versus Jack Swagger on Raw with JR doing commentary, and I thought that was a shocker, and I kind of like to see how how JR really didn't pay Michael Cole any mind. How it was just kind of...
He didn't even talk to him. He just snapped.
It was more like, it was back to the basics, Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. But you know what? I was talking during the show, me, Brian, and my cousins and my father were watching it. If you're really going to go old school, shouldn't it have been JR, King, and Jim Ross? I mean, King, JR, and Vince McMahon, sorry. Other than, because, they hosted Raw for so many years in the Attitude Era.
Well, I think,
that would have been kind of cool to see.
I think, bringing Jim Ross back for a little bit definitely brought back the announce team that, dominated in 98, 99.
They brought back the RAW. The original Raw
they sure
entrance.
Did. And just a simple square Titantron. Really no flair.
They had the old school WWF logos hanging from the top. I think that's how they should produce Monday Night Raw from now on. The way that the quality that they put on for that, and the ring ropes and everything, it looked just so... It looked like Raw from '97, and that's what I think WWE should get back to, is like stuff
back
like
to basics.
That. Back to basics.
There's too much... The problem with WWE today is there's too much too much entertainment.
Not enough wrestling.
Not enough wrestling. That's why TNA, when it comes to pure wrestling, TNA and ROH dominate it, and any of the independents. I mean, In the Northeast, there's fantastic independents that, you'll see wrestling ability that, is unparalleled. It's all, unfortunately, in WWE, it's all about talk. It's all about, fancy lights, production values, this, that, and the other, and there's just not, like JC said, not enough wrestling. And, that's what this sport is. It's wrestling. It's not
entertainment.
I mean, you gotta have a careful balance. Yeah, you want to be able to draw, but...
Yes, you do need build-up for a match, but what they've been doing on a weekly basis in the ring is more talking and more in-ring promos than there are wrestling.
But 10 years ago, it was so stripped down. You didn't have the HD set. You didn't have the laptop computer, general manager. It was just such a different time. It was a better time, in my opinion.
Yes.
But, we have a big pay-per-view coming up on Sunday.
What do you think overall Monday Night Raw? What would you give it?
The old school Raw?
The old school.
I want to say, God.
And my biggest gripe about the old school Raw is that you brought back legends that really no one wanted to see. We were expecting the return of Shawn Michaels and maybe a classic DX skit.
No, they brought back 90s.
Who wanted to see Slick? Who wanted to see Jimmy Snuka?
All right, no.
Bring back wrestlers that people actually want to see. I thought when they brought out the Usos, like, dude, is Rikishi coming out? No, they brought Snuka. Who wants to see Snuka?
No,
the best legend that was there that I was actually interested in seeing was probably Piper and was Mean Gene Okerlund. Everyone else was kind of
Dude. You had Mean Gene, you had Piper. I like seeing
Who wanted to see the Brooklyn Brawler?
Dude, I love the Brooklyn Brawler. He actually fought a match with Harvey Whippleman. Remember when Harvey Whippleman was the women's champion?
Who wrote the Brooklyn Brawler skit? Dude, I would have had far. You couldn't get The Rock. You couldn't bring Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
No, but that wasn't the point. They weren't going for late 90s Raw. They were going for early 90s Raw.
Okay, early 90s. Triple H was still there in the early 90s. Bret Hart.
You're not going to see Triple H. Triple H is...
Shawn Michaels was there for the very first Monday Night Raw.
You're not going to see... right now, those guys at MO they've
Okay, guys.
They served their time. They're at home right now.
Go back to the early 90s.
Early 90s.
From early 90s to early... No. Hear me out. Go back from 1991 when Raw first went on the air. Watch the Best of Raw Anniversary 3-disc set. The first disc is nothing but from 1990 to 1995, and he had a lot of talent there. You had 1-2-3 Kid, Scott Hall. You had all these guys.
Alright, let's see. 1-2-3 Kid excommunicated from the WWE. Scott Hall excommunicated from the WWE. Joe, you gotta be realistic.
For a one-night thing? Come on.
Yeah, for a one-night thing. Vince McMahon's got a grudge going back, 15 years with some of these guys. But
Shawn Michaels could have been there. Shawn Michaels could have came in and be like, hey guys, I was here for the first Monday Night Raw.
I thought it was pretty funny. Tony Atlas was spraying WD-40 on himself.
Who wanted to see that? I don't know, but whatever.
Dude, the best legend was Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Let's see.
USA.
And no, I have my BlackBerry out, and no, I am not receiving an anonymous message from the GM. I actually took the notes from the pay-per-view from Survivor Series 2010, so we're going to run down the match.
High-tech effing true wrestling.
You have Team Ray, which can...
Survivor Series predictions here, guys.
You have Team Ray, which consists of Rey Mysterio, Kofi Kingston, Chris Masters, Show, and MVP, versus Team Del Rio, which consists of Del Rio, Tyler Rex, McIntyre, Swagger, and Rhodes. Elimination traditional Survivor Series match, which I think they needed to have more of these on this card, and they did not.
Well, I think that's the WWE's kind of...
That's like having Money in the Bank and only having one Money in the Bank match.
Well...
It's like having a Hell in the Cell pay-per-view and only having 2 Hell in the Cells. It's like having an Elimination Chamber and only having 2 Elimination Chambers.
That's everything they did this year.
Every gimmick pay-per-view they had. Traditional Survivor Series. Go back, date all the way back to like 2004, 2003, 2002, even back into the mid-90s. So traditional style match.